Do you want to be married?
Ooh.
Good question.
I heard that's the
You see
lover
his
boy
face.
tactic. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But
And that's an interesting question because younger me would say no. Absolutely not. And the reason younger me would say no is because I'd come up with all the arguments that there's no legal advantage really, and
There
the
is.
woman can wreck you, and
that's
you can lose all of your things, etc. What's the point? I don't want the government involved in my life, all those kind of arguments. But as I get older, maybe I'm getting a bit softer. Maybe I do think sometimes you need to make a decision based purely on love and have the faith of love and faith in your love.
Yeah.
Enough to say, I don't care what the government's going to do about this because I truly believe in us and I think we're going to make it.
Wow.
So would I get married? Perhaps
He's
some
changed.
point
He has.
in the future I might get married. Yeah, I'm not against marriage like I used to
see
be. I
the
used to
joy
be
in his
super
face.
against it. And I think that's because I grew up in an environment where everybody was divorced. Everyone. So it's like, well, what's the point in this? Oh, wait, so I give her half my stuff and then what? No, I didn't understand the whole point of it. But now I think if I met the right woman, perhaps, yes.
yeah, marriage is good.
So he hasn't
Yeah?
met her
If
yet.
it's the
Convert me, Candace.
Yeah, if it's the right person, if you marry the right person, and I'm saying this as someone who grew up with divorced parents. Well, they got divorced after I was out of the house, but
He's a Muslim. He's still going
and
to
this
go on to say he
speaks
needs
to your
4.
earlier point about it either impacts you one way or the other. You either want marriage because your parents were divorced, you don't want marriage. I desperately wanted marriage, and I think the ways in which we both have grown.
Yeah.
And the confidence that it gives you. I think there is something about people are like, how do you do what you do every day? Because you cannot impact. My life is so stable. The nucleus of our household is so stable.
Yeah.
And to be able to raise kids and have them see that example of the perfect yin and the yang, there's something divine about it. There's something spiritual about it. It's why I won't accept you. I think you are actually a libertarian right now, and I won't accept you as a libertarian. I think you will not be one. In a few years, if I had to make a prediction, I think you will lean towards conservatism, because even in just the crack of you talking about the attack on masculinity.
Yeah. As Isaac hates when I say, as the married man. The married
there it is.
No, I can relate to what Candace is saying, because when you get married, you have to stick it out through the tough stuff unless you want to go through the horrible process of divorce. When you're dating someone and just say, we're not going to get married, there's an easy out. And as far as him not knowing if there's any governmental benefits, one, there's tax breaks. But also, I think in society, one important thing, which we've even discussed and we have slightly different opinions on, I do believe that if you have kids with a woman and you are married, that getting married does protect them, because society is filled with so many weak men that if they just decide to leave and then the woman is stuck with the kid and no income because they've been a housewife their whole life, that could be a horrific. They could be homeless.
See, I don't disagree. However, I don't think I 100% do not believe you need the government to do that for you, because as Judge Judy has even said, like, just a napkin with crayon with your signature on it is enough for the courts to back that up.
Now, I do think that there has to be official documents. I don't think that just verbal.
Well, you can go get it notarized, but my point is, get married within the church, have like a nice spiritual wedding if you need to. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that it's nice and it's fun to be able to celebrate making a commitment that.
I agree.
I just believe that afterwards you should sit down with your wife, write out terms, say, hey, just in the off chance that I die or something bad were to happen, these are the terms that we're going to follow. This is what's going to happen
What
afterwards.
if the man leaves, though?
Well, that's something that should be outlined in the agreement that you guys write up for yourself. You go and get it notarized. And
then that's also part of the government. Because if you get it notarized, you're making it so that it is a actual piece of documentation that the government can use in this case of a divorce. If you don't have the government involved at all, then it is purely up to the morality of the individuals. And since our society is so corrupt and men are weak and leave their families all the time, there's obviously infidelity and things that are, makes that the case. But I want to make sure that women and their children are taken care of. I don't think that Jeff Bezos should have to give his wife $50 billion.
See, that's the problem with.
But they should have had, in my opinion, They should have sat down and been like, okay, in the case of a divorce, you get 10 million, 20 million, whatever it is. You know, I don't like that she got half of that. You know, there's every situation's different.
Because it's wrong. I mean, you didn't do anything to earn that money. He did.
I think for her to get $50 billion, that makes it so then she can leave whenever she wants. And
exactly.
It makes
it's a very controversial thing.
It almost incentivizes her to do that.
It absolutely
incentivizes.
But
I'm still of the mind that the reason the government is involved in marriage is because if we took them out of marriage entirely, you're going to have broken single woman households where she has 2 or 3 kids and they literally have no way to survive.
See, the problem is you know, the government's already involved and the amount of single mother households have only increased since the government got involved.
Well, when did the government get involved?
Let me say something. Yeah. I think ultimately it comes back to this entire conversation has come to a pinnacle of if men were truly men, then we wouldn't have these problems in the first place.
We wouldn't.
I agree. If we're talking about marriage, the government getting involved, is a lot of these laws that were put in place by men, right? But it's a dominance thing. They want you, if you can control the way men think and, you know, brainwash them into believing that they're weak, they will leave.
Yeah.
They will leave the house. They will leave their wife.
It's a cultural thing, right?
It's a Western mindset that has dominated our thoughts, unfortunately.
It's something that's extremely difficult to overturn.
Yeah.
That's why we're creating this podcast and we're doing reaction videos to this, is because we do want men to become stronger, but it is a long-term game. This isn't going to happen overnight, but it's interesting because we have different views, but we can respect each other's opinion and understand where each other comes from. That's the whole thing. Why men need to talk stuff out is because a lot of people in today's society, if you have a different viewpoint, then you're all of a sudden canceled or you're not allowed to share it. But us men respecting each other. And
that's what true men do. They respect each other in the midst of disagreement.
Exactly.
Well, the thing is like, I don't feel like we entirely disagree. Like, I do believe there should be some type of support system.
I agree.
To help in the case of divorce. My only thing is, write up your own contract, get it notarized, so that way if things have to go to the divorce court, they have to abide by the contract that you both agreed upon.
I do agree. So we're saying the same thing. There has to be a certain level of government involvement, but talk it out beforehand and make sure that it's fair for both
Don't
sides.
let the government write the contract for you.
Oh, no. Don't do that. Just don't do that.
Because that's the problem with divorce court nowadays.
Marriage. If you want to see more reaction videos, click right here. And if you want to see the entire episode, click right here.